Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Fuck Trauma podcast with me, Candice Tamara. This is the podcast your inner child wishes you heard sooner, and my inner child feels so fulfilled to be sharing this with you to support you in creating secure relationships with yourself and with others. And on that note, today's episode is a bit of a hot topic. It is around the real reason that you attract emotionally unavailable, avoidant, inconsistent partners, and what's really going on there, and how to stop it, what needs to change, what it's showing you. Because you don't attract avoidance, you don't attract emotionally unavailable people, you attract mirrors to your internal world. Every person reflects a part of you that's emotionally unavailable to yourself. Everyone in your life is reflecting your inner beliefs, your wounds, your fears, and your assumptions about love, your assumptions about yourself, and your self-concept. They're not showing you who they are showing you where you still don't feel safe to receive love. And until you realize this, you will keep attracting the same people in a different body, because it's not happening to you to punish you and to hurt you and to feel fucking exhausting. It is happening to you for you to see the mirror and change the mirror. And the good thing is, even though this might feel a bit confronting to take that much self-responsibility, I know it's a lot easier to just think that they are doing something to you. Trust me, it is so freaking empowering to realize that you have the power to change this, and only you. You don't need to chase them to get them to change. You don't need to fix them to get them to change. You don't need to beg and plead for their commitment, their reassurance, and their validation, and anything else that you're doing just so that you can feel secure. You have the power, and I'm going to show you how. Because when you shift it within yourself, it shifts. You stop attracting the same people in a different body. I promise you, you're going to see. I did it. I have shown my clients how to do it over and over, and I've done it too. I was constantly attracting emotionally unavailable, avoidant partners my entire life. And now it's the opposite, because I shifted my internal state. I shifted my self-concept. So I'm going to show you some core wounds that is showing up for you, and you'll see yourself in probably some of them. And I'm going to talk to you about what that is mirroring to you, what you're experiencing, and what it is showing you, and how to change it. Just buckle in, because this stuff, it is so freaking amazing when you see it so clearly and then you're able to change it. So I am so excited to just show you this. So let's dive in. The first one I really want to talk to you about is obviously the fear of abandonment. Now, if you have an anxious attachment style, you have a fear of abandonment. When you have a fear of abandonment, you will overgive, you will chase, you will monitor their energy, their tone, their mood, absolutely anything, and you'll lose yourself trying to keep them close. You might stay when your needs aren't met still, because you are afraid. You are so afraid of being left that you will stay in unhealthy relationships, or relationships that don't meet your needs. You do not want to be in them, but you will stay anyway. You avoid difficult conversations. And here's the nuance here. I know you might think you don't avoid difficult conversations because sometimes, that anxiety blows up and you express yourself, and then you force yourself to have those difficult conversations. But that's not true. The difficult conversations you are actually avoiding are the ones about your needs, your boundaries, the commitment you actually want, what you think you deserve, what you want them to do. All of those conversations you suppress within yourself, and you take whatever they give you and you go along with it. And at some point that anxiety might come to the surface and it might force you to say what you really feel. But before that, you are avoiding those difficult conversations and you silence your truth to keep the peace. And I'm going to show you what the underlying belief and assumptions of that will be. If I express my needs, they'll leave me. That is the underlying subconscious belief and assumption that is running your show. Love can disappear any moment. It's not safe. Love disappears. It's not safe. And I have to earn love or perform to be chosen, to be wanted, to be loved. That are the beliefs and assumptions that you have learned. In childhood, guys, it's subconscious. It's that little inner child inside of you. They have learned these beliefs, and these is exactly what it's mirroring in your reality. It's exactly what it's manifesting for you. So with that, you will attract partners who are inconsistent, hot and cold, emotionally unavailable, avoidant, because they reflect how unsafe you feel inside of your own body. They're reflecting the parts of you that you abandon the moment fear arises. That's what happens. That's exactly what we're talking about. You know, you don't express your needs, you don't tell them what you want, or you don't walk away. All of those things are abandoning yourself, and they have no choice but to mirror that back to you. Your nervous system is literally fluctuating, hot, cold. 1 minute you're okay, 1 minute, you know, as soon as there's some distance, or as soon as something's happened, you're triggered, your nervous system is triggered, and then you're going to get partners that reflect that hot and cold in you. You're going to get them inconsistent, and they're going to abandon you. I know that this is a hard one. They're going to abandon you because you're abandoning yourself. If they ghost you, it's coming from that fear of abandonment. I know that is hard to believe, and I know that is hard to take, but I promise you can change it. And, you know, if there's times in your relationship where you feel like they pull away from you, or they don't want to be as close to you, that is all that's happening. Is your fear of abandonment that is projecting that distance. And when you change that, you'll start getting people that pull away from you, because you will no longer be abandoning yourself. You'll be able to stay within yourself. You won't be fearing abandonment because you won't have those beliefs and assumptions. You will have different beliefs and assumptions that love is safe for me and always lasts, for instance. That is what happens, and then you will get people that mirror that back to you. So how do you shift this? You start choosing yourself when fear arises. You know that feeling in your body where you just feel this feeling in your body where it's like you've said yes to something and you can feel that feeling, and it's like that is your body telling you, actually, that is a time where you have to choose yourself, because you're self-abandoning. When that feeling comes up, it's not because they're doing anything to you, it's because you're doing something to you. You are self-abandoning. I know it's hard. I used to ignore this feeling all the time. I was constantly so triggered. I had the deepest fears of abandonment. Anytime anyone pulled away from me, it was like that little girl inside of me that was abandoned by her father and abandoned by her caregivers emotionally and in so many different ways. It's like she was so triggered, and it was that feeling inside of myself. And then I would choose them. I would focus on them. I'd run after them. I'd chase them. And every time I was abandoning that little girl inside of me, that is that feeling that comes up in you, that fear. And that is the moment where you get to choose something different. So you start choosing yourself when that fear arises. When you feel that feeling, you stop. And I know it's difficult. I know, I get it. You stop and you say, what do I need to do to choose myself here? What would I do? Stop with yourself, regulate yourself. This is why I talk about nervous system regulation so much. And then you choose you. You don't chase them. You don't fix them. You try and fix yourself. You choose yourself. You chase yourself. Chase your own happiness. Chase your own joy. Do those things instead. And you'll see that you'll start getting partners mirror back, prioritizing you and choosing you, because they're just a mirror to you. So if you're choosing them, they have no choice but to choose them and prioritize them. But the moment you put the focus back on you, you'll see they start mirroring that back. And I bet you've experienced this in relationships or with people where you've got to a point where you're like, I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm just going to focus on myself. I'm going to do my own thing right now. And then suddenly they start to change. Suddenly they're the ones creeping back to you, or they're trying to be sweet to you and they want to come back to you, whatever it is. Or they're making the effort, whatever it was. Before that, you might have been running after them, nagging them, chasing them, begging them to do these things. And they were obviously not doing any of those things. They were, combative, pulling away, whatever it was, avoiding, right? But then the second you were like, I don't care anymore, I'm just going to focus on my happiness, I'm going to focus on doing things that make me feel good, you start going to the gym or whatever like that, suddenly they want to do those things that you were begging for them to do before. That is because you have put the focus back on you. They're just a mirror to you. So when you're focused on you, they will have no choice but to focus on you too. When you stop abandoning yourself in moments of fear, you stop attracting people who abandon you. So you start choosing yourself. You regulate instead of chasing. You have to regulate your nervous system. My goodness, I wish I knew this too. Whatever that is, breath work, EFT, working out, whatever it is, find the method that works for you and regulate your nervous system instead of chasing them. The power is sitting in the discomfort. It's sitting with yourself. When that fear arises in your body and you desperately want to chase them, you definitely want to abandon yourself, fix the situation, close the gap, anything to get rid of the anxiety. If you give in to that, you will keep experiencing the same relationships over and over and over again, because you are choosing that. You are choosing that in that moment. It is a mirror. Okay. I know it's painful, but when it shifts is when you sit with that discomfort instead. You sit with yourself, you sit with that fear, you regulate yourself instead, and you choose something different. You choose yourself, you choose a different path, you do something different, or you speak your needs instead of suppressing them. When you do that, you have literally shifted the mirror, and they will start reflecting that back to you. Trust me, try it. Okay, the next fear is the fear of vulnerability. And the behaviors that show up with the fear of vulnerability is you may appear open, but you're only open to a point. Everything is a strategy. Everything is perfectly curated. You may look perfect. You may look all put together and able to be confident and show that you are so open with everyone, but actually not with things that are vulnerable to you. You intellectualize emotions and you avoid deep conversations or stay in control by not letting anyone really in. So you intellectualize emotions, meaning that you can explain them. Like, you can explain what's going on till the cows come home, right? But you don't feel them. You don't allow yourself to show that because there's a fear of weakness there. So you avoid deep conversations unless you feel really safe with someone. Otherwise, you avoid them and you stay in control by not letting anyone really see you. You curate the perception that people get of you. And sometimes you connect through caretaking others or helping others, which feels intimate, but it protects you from being the one who's seen. So it feels intimate in the sense of like you're bringing them closer, but you still have your walls up. Okay. And your beliefs and assumptions are, if I'm vulnerable, I'll get hurt. Maybe people will take advantage of me. Maybe it hasn't been safe for you. And your other beliefs and assumptions are, if they really see the real me, they won't stay. They'll leave me. And with that, you attract people with walls up that are emotionally unavailable partners who can't open up. They have walls. They have ego too, because they are a mirror to you. And they are only showing you where your heart still fears being seen. And for me, I was the queen of deflecting. I could make anyone feel seen, but it was a shield for me. Like, I would ask 100 questions about someone else. I thought it was brilliant. I could handle any conversation with anyone. I would keep the spotlight completely on them. They would feel so safe. They would feel so seen and understood. They would open up, but I would literally be doing it not for connection. It would be to take the questions and the focus off me, because anytime they'd try and ask me a question, I would deflect it and put it back onto them. And I was hiding. I didn't want people to see who I really was behind, like, being strong and put together and being the one that can hold this space for you and everything. Because, I was afraid. I was afraid of vulnerability. So I held all the spaces for others, but never let anyone hold space for me. And here's the thing, a lot of people that have hyper independence, we have this fear of vulnerability. And we have this belief that we must do it all ourselves, and that, no one is really truly there for us or cares for us the way that we do it for them. But that is a big mistake, because it's you. It's you, my love. It is you. It was me too. I never wanted anyone to, I've consciously on the surface, yeah, maybe I wanted people to show they cared or hold that space for me, and I'd get annoyed if they weren't there for me the way that I was there for them. But the truth is you've always had the walls up, you've always been guarded, and that is what gets reflected back to you. You have learned to hold space for them and to be all about them, and it's a mirror. They're not going to be all about you. They're not going to hold that space back for you, because you're so focused on them. You're teaching them because you have this fear of vulnerability. It showed up in all of my relationships. Actually, this was one of the hardest ones that I had to shift towards the end of my changing my self-concept and shifting through the fears, was the fear of vulnerability. So even when I was dating, I would act secure, I would play it cool. I would act like I didn't care. I was so unbothered and everything like that. And truthfully, a lot of the time that was the case. I was busy and I was doing those things, certainly as I kept going in my journey. But one of the hardest things towards the end was that I realized it was all a mask. I wasn't really truly being myself. And when it came to like those conversations of vulnerability, or, you know, sharing who I really was, or sharing some of those feelings and those thoughts and things like that, actually, I struggled with it. There was a feeling in my body that was like resistance of like, no, it's not safe. Don't let them see you. And when I would do that, for instance, if I would push myself to be vulnerable and share some things with people that I was dating, immediately I would be triggered, and it would start to appear that they were pulling away, or it would start to appear that they didn't want me so much. I'd be looking for clues of it, but that was only coming from that fear of vulnerability. It wasn't truth. They were just mirroring how I felt and how I'd become triggered, and that is what's happening. So when you change that, you are able to be vulnerable. Actually, vulnerability is beautiful. It's the reason you feel connected to people. And it is safe to be vulnerable. It's just coming from that little guy or little girl inside of you that probably at times, there were some really vulnerable times for me in my childhood, and there were people that weren't there for me. I wasn't taught that it was safe to have needs. Like, it was safe for me to be vulnerable. It wasn't safe for me to be her. I had to be all about them. So instead, what I learned was, Candice doesn't really matter. I have to focus on them, because when I was vulnerable, when I was a child, for instance, it was taken advantage of. It was seen as my weakness, when it was never my weakness. It was always a strength. It is always a strength. And I think it's just something that we really struggle with, because there is so much advice out there that literally teaches you not to be vulnerable. But your vulnerability, your heart is your vulnerability. You cannot be attracting love without including your heart, guys. Your heart is your vulnerability. It is everything, and it is magnetic as fuck. So it's learning that vulnerability is safe with you, and learning that it's okay to let those masks down. You don't have to show people the perception of you. You can just be you. And when you do that, you'll attract people to you that are right for you, that absolutely adore you, no matter what. Like, there is no mask with my partner now. And like, no matter what, whether I'm spend all day, every day in my pajamas and looking rubbish or whatever it is, or I'm having a down day or low energy or whatever that is. And of course that happens. It's like, I just feel like this man just adores me because I've changed my self-concept to be like that, and I'm allowed to let him in. But before that, everything was curated with other people. It was like I had to look perfect. If I was seeing them, I had to look perfect. I had to be perfect. Everything I said, everything I did was like this illusion that I'm so put together and that I've not had all these traumas and I don't have an anxious attachment, like all of this stuff. And it's exhausting and it's stopping you from attracting the people that are for you, because it's just going to mirror that. You're just going to get those walls back. And trust me, when you are vulnerable and when you are safe within yourself to be vulnerable, you will get that vulnerability and those people that reflect that back to you. And it is the most deepest, most incredible, safest love, because it's real love. It's not built on a fake foundation of what you think it is, and therefore it could leave at any time. It's not built on fear, it's built on your heart, and that's beautiful. So how to shift that is you practice vulnerability safely. You express what's true even when it's uncomfortable, and you show emotion without judging it. So you have to stop judging you. A lot of the time we fear vulnerability, but really it's our judgment within ourselves. Whatever we fear somebody is judging us, it's really the judgment we have of ourselves. So we have to stop that. We have to be like, I am human and I have these emotions and I am not perfect and I'm totally okay with that, and own it. And where you can, practice that vulnerability bit by bit. Don't necessarily go too fast if you haven't regulated your nervous system first, because it will trigger your anxious attachment style. So you start with people that do feel safe to you, and you do a little bit, and you start to tell yourself afterwards, it's okay, it's safe. It's safe for me to be vulnerable. It's safe for me to show myself. It's safe for me to be seen. You start to talk to yourself like that. You start to go with that discomfort, and every time you do, you're expanding yourself, and then it will become normal. It will become comfortable for you. But nervous system regulation will definitely help you in being able to expand that and not feel triggered. And the next one is the fear of commitment. When you have a fear of commitment, the behavior is you chase commitment. Yeah, I said it. But when someone genuinely offers it and wants to choose you pull back, you feel smothered, or you question your attraction, and you question their attraction to you. How can they feel this sure of me? What are they seeing in me? Why are they choosing me so easily? This feels too good to be true. And you over focus on unavailable people because they feel safe, because they can't actually choose you. So you never risk being fully seen. Okay, they can't choose you. That's why you attract them. That's why you chase after them, because they can never choose you back, because you have this fear of commitment, and your beliefs and assumptions are commitment means losing myself. Being chosen means being trapped. Love won't last. So it's better not to get too attached. Being chosen means being fully seen. It means being vulnerable. The mirror for you is that you attract people who can't commit, that stay half in or say, I'm not ready. And they're mirroring your unconscious fear that commitment means losing yourself, losing your freedom. And, it's funny because I was in a relationship for like 4 years, and I was very anxious at the time, and he appeared very avoidant. I had no idea of attachment styles back then, but that's exactly what I was experiencing, right? And I thought I was the one that wanted more commitment. I thought I was ready for commitment. I felt like I was the one that was like begging him for the commitment. Obviously, he was committed to me. We were in a relationship, but he didn't want to live with me, for instance. That was the next level of commitment. He didn't want to propose to me and all of those things. But looking back now, I can see that really all I was doing, I wasn't chasing commitment. I wasn't wanting commitment. I was chasing somebody that wasn't choosing me, and I was addicted to chasing somebody that wasn't choosing me. And the truth is, they couldn't choose me because I was not choosing me, and I had a fear of commitment. If they were to turn around, and there was a few times where they turned around and said, okay, I'll do this, or okay, let's have a family or whatever, I was the one that was then like, oh my God, no, not right now. I was the one that really had the fear of commitment. And so I know with a lot of anxious attachment style, we think we are the ones that want the commitment. We're the ones that, in the situationship that is ready for the commitment and they're not ready for us. It's not true. They're mirroring us. We're the ones that are not ready. They have no choice but to mirror that, because it's not safe for us to receive love. It's not safe for us to believe that somebody could actually choose us and stay with us and love us for exactly who we are. So we will create these circumstances and these relationships and these people where we just keep chasing them, because we're not really ready for the level of intimacy that comes with it, the level of vulnerability that comes with the commitment, and being truly fully seen. And that is what was happening there. It's our nervous system. We think we want commitment, but our nervous system only chases what feels familiar, not what feels safe. And sometimes being chosen feels scarier than being ignored. That's why the person that comes in that is so sure of you and ready to choose you, that's why you question it. You don't want it anymore. You don't feel the spark. It's not because they're not right for you. It's because you fear the commitment of, oh my God, what if this actually happens? And I tell you, when my now fiance proposed to me, he was so sure of me from the very beginning. And he was so ready for commitment, ready for marriage, all of that stuff, right? Which is a far cry from my relationship before, which many years ago, right, where it was the opposite. And that is the testament to doing this work. But I've told you on this podcast that it still triggered my fear of commitment, my fear of losing myself, my fear of oh no, what if I'm not ready? The good news is that I was able to see it and be like, no, Candice, I'm ready. It's okay for someone to choose me. I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. So you can change the story, and when you do, like, somebody choosing you feels so much better than chasing somebody that doesn't choose you. I promise you. So how you shift this is you redefine commitment as freedom with safety. It's okay for you to have the person that chooses you. You can still be yourself. You don't have to chase someone. Actually, you can still be free in your relationship, and it can feel safe and wonderful. And all of those things, you start to change what that looks like for you and how that feels when you stop chasing them. And actually, safety feels great. Safety is the new spark that you love, and you get comfortable with being chosen. When I reprogrammed my self-concept to being chosen and people started choosing me, I had to get comfortable with it. Like, it was bit by bit. I'd be like, it's okay, Candice. Of course, because I'm chosen now. Even my partner, from the very beginning, he brought me flowers every single week. He showed up even on our second date with a rose and a beautiful card, and just choosing me. Was so intentional with how he felt about me and how he wanted me and all of those things. And he would be so romantic, and he'd hold the door open for me, and he'd put my coat on. That was the one. He would like put my coat on our dates, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And like, all of these things are like, oh, like, that's nice, that's what you deserve. But you get used to it. You start to like get comfortable with it. You say, thank you for it, I deserve this, thank you so much. And then it becomes your new normal. You stop thinking that it's like a cage, and you actually realize, wow, this is amazing, this feels like home, this is great, where you can be loved without losing yourself. Because actually, when you lose yourself is the ones where you keep chasing them, because all your focus is on them. When I was in my last relationship, I couldn't think or focus on anything outside of them, outside of finally winning them over. And this relationship is a complete opposite. It's like I'm able to stay so focused on me, obviously still being present in my relationship, but I'm able to stay focused on me because I'm not trying to chase anything, and they reflect that back, and it's beautiful. Okay, and the next fear that will be showing up for you and mirroring back is the fear of rejection. So your behaviors will be: you seek validation, you try to prove your worth, you overanalyze texts, and you take everything personally. You abandon your truth to be liked or accepted. And your belief and assumptions that are running the show is: if I'm fully myself, I'll be rejected. I'm only worthy if someone else says I am. You won't see it as I'm only worthy if someone else says I am, but that is the behavior. If somebody else sees you and doesn't reject you and chooses you, then you're worthy. and that is not true. So you'll attract people who will keep you guessing. They'll pull away when you express your needs, or they'll make you feel like you're too much, too sensitive, all of those different things. And they show you where you still reject yourself when someone doesn't validate you. Okay, I actually use social media as a really prime example of this, of where it can be really unhealthy in terms of, like, say you post something on social media and you don't get the response you want from it. You will allow it to determine you. Like, oh, that wasn't good. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough, for instance, where you're rejecting yourself in those moments. You're feeding that story. Or, for instance, okay, in your relationships where, you know, maybe somebody doesn't want to date you or something, or they don't text back or something like that. In those moments, you start to reject yourself. You don't validate yourself. You need them to validate you for you to be okay. And in that time, you are literally rejecting yourself, and they have no choice but to reject you. And, the fear of rejection can show up in every area of your life. And it does for me, it did for me, and not just in dating. Even with like building this business and showing up online, this was one of the biggest fears I had to face, because the moment you share your truth publicly, you open yourself up to judgment, criticism, and people not agreeing with you. And I remember when I was trying to do what I do now, it was like I realized, wow, I have this fear of rejection. I felt rejected by my dad. I felt rejected by my mom. I felt rejected all the time as a child. And it was really flipping scary. I feared getting it wrong, failing, judgment, criticism, all of those things, people not liking me, all of those things. It was so freaking hard. And at the time, I remember, this was long before I even showed up online, I was working through clearing the fear of rejection. It was a big one. And I always tell my clients this. Sometimes when you start to clear a fear, so if you have ever done like my EFT tapping or my masterclass or anything like that, what happens is when you start to clear that fear, the universe gives you the opposite sometimes, just to show you to handle it differently, to see if you've neutralized the trigger now and to how to handle it. So when I was clearing the fear of rejection, I was going on dates, right? And I remember I went on like 5 dates in a row, and every single one of them rejected me. Even the ones I didn't want, which was all of them anyway. But it was like the universe was saying, can you hold this energy and stay neutral to it? So the first ones I was like, this is unusual. Like, this doesn't usually happen like this. It's like I'm being rejected. And then I quickly realized that was what was happening. It was just a test. It was to see. So sometimes when you are clearing things, you will see the opposite, but actually it's just for you to hold the energy of, I am not rejected. I do not need their validation. This is who I am. I do not carry this fear anymore, and stay neutral and choose something different and don't act from that place. And that's exactly what I did. And then it just disappeared. That's what happens. When it no longer defines your worth, you will stop attracting it. You will stop attracting people that reject you or experiences that reject you. And it's the same in business, of course, in what I do. I'm never the person that's going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And I don't say what everybody else is saying for that reason, because that's not helping you. So of course there's going to be people that are not going to understand that. They're not going to get that. And that's totally fine. I have stopped internalizing those things, when I first showed up online, and I think one of the greatest lessons was when my first video on TikTok went really mega viral. I remember the moment where, and this is how I know I was being prepared with all this rejection for this. It was all part of the preparation stage, right? I remember like a first negative comment on that video that came in, and I felt this feeling inside of my body. And it was like the fear of rejection of like, it was crazy, like the gas, right? And there was a voice in my head that was like, oh my God, delete the video. It's not safe. It's not safe. It's not safe. And I remember that voice. I remember the moment I was sitting on my bed. I was laying on my bed or something when it came in, right? And I remembered I had to be conscious and be like, no, Candice, it's safe. Okay. I don't care. This is going to happen. You must continue. Look at all the positive reactions, okay? You must keep going. And all that preparation of getting used to being rejected was just neutralizing that trigger in my body to allow me to do what I needed to do. So how can you shift this for yourself? You validate yourself first. You know, in that moment, I could have been like, no, it's not safe. Listen to that fearful voice and say, no, I'm taking this video down, and I would not be here right now. I would have stopped then and I would have gone back to my corporate job, right? But I didn't. I sat there and was like, no, I do not need this validation. Let's change the story and let's keep going. And the more you do that every single time, it gets easier. You know, that little fearful voice goes away. You don't get that so much. Like now I don't get that. There's no voice. If I get a negative comment, there's no voice that says to me, quick, take it down. I'm just like, oh, okay, fair enough. And then I keep going, you know, but it comes with time, and it comes with practice of validating yourself first. That's why, you know, when you're in relationships and you constantly need reassurance, and I believe me, I get it, but it's never freaking enough. They could tell you they love you and they want you to the cows come home, but it's never enough, and it will just sabotage your relationship because it's you that has to validate you. It's the same with compliments. People can tell you all the time that you look beautiful, but if you're not bloody telling yourself, it's never gonna matter, right? You have to validate yourself first, and the greatest thing is you get to do that. You are in control of this. And when you start filling yourself up, actually the compliment is just an added bonus. You're like, thank you so much. The I love you from your partner is just a nice added bonus. The reassurance is just a nice added bonus. It's not a need. I need this for me to feel okay, because you've already given it to yourself. That is the beautiful thing of it. So validate yourself first. Practice talking to yourself. Practice shifting those moments when you're in them, shifting the story, because it changes everything. Speak your truth as well, even if it risks rejection. And I know that's a hard one, but again, every time you do that, you're expanding your capacity. And again, you will stop being rejected stop feeling the fear of rejection, because you are expanding yourself. You're teaching your nervous system that it's safe. It's safe to be ourselves. It's safe for me to speak my truth. It's safe for me to choose me. Rejection doesn't matter, because I'm not rejecting myself anymore. And when you stop rejecting yourself, the funny thing is you'll stop getting people that reject you too. That is how it works. It doesn't define your worth. You don't need it to define your worth. You are worthy as you are. Just be you, and you will stop attracting people that make you prove your worth. You don't need that. And the final fear is the fear of being too much or not enough. So the behavior that comes with that is you tone yourself down, you walk on eggshells, or you try to be the chill partner. You know, you might be an overachiever or be overly self-reliant to avoid being a burden to others. You know, there's that whole thing, I don't want to ask for help, I'll just do it myself. I don't need anyone, but I'll do everything for everyone else. And your belief and assumption there is, I have to earn space in someone's life, and my needs make me hard to love. And I know that probably is hitting some people, because I can still feel it in me. And your partners, you'll get partners who can't meet your needs or make you feel like you're asking for too much, because they reflect the part of you that's still judging your own emotions and your own needs. They mirror the way you disconnect from your own emotional needs. You pretend you don't, you know, I'll just stay small, and then I won't be too much. They'll stay and they won't leave me, and then I'll finally be chosen, and I'll be loved. And if I'm just love them this way, and I'm just perfect, and I don't show that I have needs, and I don't show that I have emotions, and I'm all of these things, then maybe I'll be good enough to be chosen, and they'll stay and they'll love me. That is what's happening there. And, you know, as a child is where we would have learned this in lots of different ways. You know, growing up, I learned really early that being too much made people uncomfortable. You know, I watched my mom really struggle with being a parent. She was very dysregulated, very overwhelmed, and struggled with addictions. And as a child, you don't see that. Okay, you don't sit there and go, oh well, they've got addictions, they've probably got their own things going on. You see it as, I'm the problem, I'm not enough, or I'm too much, and that my needs or emotions are too much for them. So I'm too much of an inconvenience. I'm a burden. That's how I felt, right? That's what you learn. So if you catch yourself saying, I don't want to be a burden now, and I've worked with so many clients that use that statement, that's where it's coming from. So, I became the good girl, the helper, the caretaker, the fixer, the therapist, the best friend, the partner to my mum. I became everything, anything I could be who was never causing any trouble. I shrank myself completely to not have need. I looked after my own needs. If I was, emotional, crying, I learned to stop expecting them. I just dealt with them myself, or I didn't have them. They didn't matter. I swept them under the carpet, I focused on their needs instead. That's what I learned. I learned to look after their needs. And that's what a lot of us with an anxious attachment style have, where we've learned to people please, or, abandon ourselves for other people's needs. I learned to earn love by being easy and quiet and accommodating. And I thought if I could just be all of those things, then, my caregivers would be okay, that they wouldn't be stressed or anxious or overwhelmed or needing to drink. And I thought, if I could just be enough, then they'd finally choose me. I'd be a priority over alcohol, or I'd be a priority over I'd be a priority over men, over other people. I'd be a priority, full stop. That is what a child feels, is that if I just do this, then I'll be good enough. If I just do this, then I won't be too much. And then finally I'll get my needs met. Finally someone will love me or choose me or want me, and I won't feel like a burden. And then in adult life, you will just keep repeating that pattern. The moment like somebody maybe needs a bit of space, or is just a bit quieter than normal, or just that you'll be hypervigilant to every single change, you'll start shrinking yourself naturally. If, for instance, I remember if I was dating people, and in the beginning it goes so well, it goes so good, and then suddenly you get the I don't know that I'm ready for a relationship, or I've got really scared of my feelings. You get that kind of talk, right? And so then you start to shrink yourself. You start to minimize. It's okay. It's okay. No, I'm fine. I don't need anything at all. No, you take it slow. No, I'm here. I'm really understanding. How many fucking times was I in that situation over and over and over again? The most understanding person on the fucking planet. And you, of course, as well, I'm sure, is too. Like, oh no, don't worry. Oh, I know you've got that problem going on. Oh, I know you're busy at work. Oh, I know you've just come out of that relationship, and all of those things are just these fears playing out. They're your fears of not being chosen, not being enough, all of those things. And then you shrink and you abandon yourself to be chosen. And unfortunately, they will have no choice but to abandon you too. And you'll think it's because you're not enough, or you're too much, but it's not true. You're not being too much. You are enough, but you are not seeing that within yourself. You're not believing that within yourself. You are not allowing yourself to be enough. You're not allowing yourself to be what you need to be, and to honor your own self and your own needs, and to realize that you are perfect. You are so perfect just as you are, and you are so worthy of love. You are so worthy of someone choosing you. You do not have to shrink yourself. You do not have to change yourself. You do not have to do any of those things. You actually need to stand in the mirror and see yourself in all of your glory, all of your messy imperfections, all of it, all of your emotions. You need to see yourself, because there's a little girl, there's a little guy inside of you that is desperate for you to see them. To instead, when they're feeling sad or feeling worried or fearful, instead of you running after this person to try and fix it with them, they are desperate for you to be like, it's okay. I've got you. It's safe. I'm going to look after you. I'm going to choose you because you're not too much. You are enough now. And when you learn that, oh my God, it changes everything. And believe me, I struggled with this my whole entire life. But when I realized to just like start to accept those parts of yourself, and that's the deep work that, I do and I show people to do. My God, it frees you. It completely frees you to stop self-abandoning yourself and stop rejecting yourself, believing you're not good enough, believing you're too much. You're none of those things. In fact, be more. Be more. Stop shrinking. Be more in your relationship. Show up as your authentic self. Just show up as the messy version of you. Like, just if you have a need, say it. Don't filter yourself. Don't do all those things. Obviously, be kind, but just like express yourself more, and you deserve that. And the more you start to do that, and the more you start to embrace your full self, yourself, and you let yourself be seen and met, you'll get that reflected back to you. When you believe you're enough, love mirrors that self-belief back to you, and it is showing up in all areas of your life. So if you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people, avoidant people, non-commitment relationships, all those things, it's not a coincidence. You are not doomed. It's never punishment. It's feedback. They're mirroring where you still don't feel safe to receive love. Okay? They are not all that's out there. It's a mirror for you. And the greatest thing is you can change it. I promise you can. And when you shift those fears, when you stop abandoning and rejecting or hiding from yourself, you become the secure version of you who naturally attracts and magnetizes people that are emotionally available, consistent, and safe, because you are now emotionally available to yourself. You are now consistent with yourself, and you are now your own safety. So they will have no choice but to mirror and reflect that back to you. And I promise you, it feels so freaking fucking amazing when you do. And that is exactly what you deserve. And if this landed with you, and you're ready to reprogram these fears at the root and really, really should, change this, show up for yourself. This is exactly what I'm teaching you to do inside my Stop Attracting Avoidance Masterclass. It's where we go deeper into shifting these patterns and rewiring your beliefs and assumptions so that you can finally attract secure, consistent love and actually be able to hold it when it shows up. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you've had some nuggets. Please do share them with me. I love connecting with you guys. And if this podcast is helping you and your inner child, please rate it on whatever platform you're listening to so that other people and other inner children can hear this too and transform their relationships. Thank you so much. I will see you again on the next episode.